Hello and welcome everybody back to the Jank Drawer. My name is Sam, this is the Jank Drawer, and today we're bringing you another installment of Midweek Magic. This week we are going to be playing the ever-elusive, ever-chaotic, ever-interesting and intriguing evolving metagame of Momir. Now, we have a lot of questions probably to answer that, and we'll get into that in a second here, but I wanted to start this off by saying thank you once again to all of you that have found this channel, whether it's through the shorts or through the Twitch stream. The growth has continued to be organic, even if the view counts have gone down from our lofty days of the triple digits. We are continuing to grow, and I appreciate all of the support and all of the wonderful things that you guys have been doing. It means a lot. It's what helps me keep doing this. It helps me keep doing all of these things and having the motivation to keep doing it. And that's why I want to start all these videos by thanking you for that support. With that being said, let's get into a little bit about what is Momir Vig. As explained by the Midweek Magic, Momir Vig is a now pretty consistently returning format, to the point that if you've watched a recent video by the professor on it, where it's like we printed this entire format, or things like that, there have been things that you can be able to make to be able to play Momir Vig in paper in recent things. Locally, a person that I know here in my local gaming community made one of these of their own and have brought it to a lot of events throughout the past years, and it's been a lot of fun. But the general premise is that you get this emblem called the Momir Vig emblem, the Factory of Momir Vig. It has X, discard a card, create a token that's a copy of a random creature card with mana value X, activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. So what this means is that you are able to start just turning all of your cards in your hand, at least one of them per turn, into random creatures equal to the amount of mana that you're willing to pay for this. Whether that's 4, whether that's 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. And you're trying to use that as an opportunity to beat your opponents. And the fun thing about this game is that the creatures you get and the various aspects that you get to compete with are completely random. And so you will be able to get a wide selection of various things going, and every game will be different. With that being said, this video is also probably going to be a little different in that instead of just going through all 3 of our games, we'll just instead of trying to get you 3 wins, we'll just play a couple of games to give you an idea of this, because there is a little bit of strategy and we'll go over that as we play. But generally, you are just up to the roll of the dice and up to the fates. And that's why I love this format so much, is just truly it can be anything, and you have to learn to solve the problem on the fly and figure out the unique scenario that your game is going to give you that time you play it. And no 2 games will ever be identical or even alike. And so that's what we're going to work on here. And I hope you enjoy the ride. With that being said, let's jump into Here's our first game. We are against Tony Zhang. Nice. So, as always, our opening hand is just going to be 7 basic lands. They are currently snow lands. The general philosophy that I have always held to in this game is that it is always worth not doing your Momir Vig on the first turn, especially if you are on the play, because the 1-drops that you can get are not generally that good. Callous Inspector being a good example of that. Because if you can even just wait 1 more turn to go to 2, the rewards you can get for 2 mana potential spells are generally better. This didn't necessarily work out, but it can give you more shots at mana torques, and give you more shots at just overall more impactful spells. Like Liara of the Flaming Fist. That would have been a great thing to get. Just being able to pay mana to get first strike and double team until the end of turn is very powerful. But we're now on 3. Let's see what we get for our 3-drop. We will discard another forest. White Lotus reinforcements. It has vigilance and other allies get +1/+1. Those Who Serve, that's a pretty dead draw for our opponent. Gorklan Wrecker, we'll have it come in with a counter. We got good blockers. We can start attacking with this Wrecker next turn. 3/3 Menace just guarantees that we at least trade for 2 creatures. Shield counter, eh? Grab another forest. X equals 5. We got a Graven Archfiend. As an additional casting out spell, sack a demon. When this creature enters at this additional cost space, conjure a card named Demonic Pact on the battlefield. So we didn't do that, but it is just a 4/5 flyer, which currently is really good on this board because our opponent doesn't have any way to block a flyer. And we can hope that they don't make their own flyer. They didn't. They did make a 5/5 that puts a counter on each creature they control, which is very good. So this is kind of what you can see is like, sometimes you get unlucky and you get things like Those Who Serve, but sometimes you get very lucky and you get things like Ridge Scale Tusker, which is going to make it so that one of their creatures now becomes a 5/5. We will double block here. Because I don't want them to start giving things double, first strike and double team. We're now going to pay X equals 6. And then generally I like capping out at 7. Because in my experience, usually the 7 drops that you can get are kind of the best things to get. So we just got a 7 that is not very good, but we'll attack with our 6/6. It gets at least one creature of theirs. Getting a Thorn Elemental is very annoying because they can do some really good stuff with that. Can we get a good 7? Reaper of Night is not a good 7. Okay, so they're going to draw a card and go for either a 6 or a 5. That's the other thing, is we haven't gotten any card draw. Card draw is very, very good in Momir Vig. 5/4 with Trample and Haste. Our own Thorn Elemental would be nice here. They get an 8. Scion of Darkness. Isn't actually that good. Torsten, founder of Benalia. I'll just draw 7 lands. Honestly, this is the best draw we could have gotten, was Torsten, because it drew us 7 cards, which means we can start getting to like 9s and 10s. which I don't know how many 9s or 10s there are in this particular iteration of Momir Vig, but traditionally 9 has been the best number because 9 is Zakama. Now it is Bringer of the Red Dawn, which is still really good. And we're kind of good to just kind of chill on 9 forever at this point. That's an annoying one to get. Because they're going to do at least 14 damage. Everything got double strike because of this. So we are just dead. Yeah, so we have just lost this one. But that's the whole point of this. It's very much the luck of the draw. We got very lucky with this Torsten, but they were able to still just overcome that with no issue. But we'll try and come back. We are back against Satanoise. We're on the draw this time. So another strategy that we used to implement for a while is that you can do just don't make something until 3. And depending on what they get off of this 2, we will try that one this time. That is interesting. But it is a 1/3, which means that I am content to just not play a card until turn 3. And we will discard this Plains. 3/2, whenever we cast our second spell each turn, we gain 2 life. That very much all we care about is that it is a 3/2. Currently, that's very powerful into our opponent's board. It's still powerful after this, but Oracle of Moldiah is a very good card because they can start playing lands off the top of their library. So they're gonna ramp like crazy. 4 is huge if you can hit Mooly Dooley off of it. We now are pretty much losing this game guaranteed as well because of the Oracle of Moldiah. We'll go to X equals 4. Discard. Mirkwood Channeler. Okay, forests are now really important. We just want as many forests as we can get. Which means we're going to start playing just all of the forests. Our opponent's going to get to go for a 7 right now, though, which is kind of game breaking for us. Yeah, so they can just get a Hamlet back to life. We just need to get an incredibly good 5. Try and get back into this. That might just lose us this game. Because now we are not only doing that, we got Seizon, Perverter of Truth, which is one of my favorite cards. He's from Kamigawa, Betrayers of Kamigawa. But it is very much at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they lose 2 life and draw 2 cards. And that ramps our opponent all the way up to the fact that they can now do a 9 this turn. And get Kuro Pitlord, another Kamigawa card. They will sacrifice him at the beginning of their upkeep because they cannot play triple black. They can pay 5 life to kill my Seizon. They can actually, I think, just win the game this turn by killing all of my creatures with their Kuro and then attacking with this 21/21. So that'll be the end of game number 2. But you can now kind of see the idea here of just like, no matter what you do, you are entirely at the luck of the draw of like what you draw is what matters. And it can be anything. Our opponent got incredibly lucky with their turnout, and we did not. So here is game number 3. Our opponent has made a 1-drop. It is a 2-1, which is a pretty aggressive 1-drop, but I think we're still probably fine waiting until we try to get to our 3s, because the 3s and 4s are like actually game breaking, as we saw from our opponent getting Oracle of Moldiah. And we're worth trading some amount of life for that. Of like, we are gonna start making creatures at 14 life, but that's, I think, fine, because we can go for a higher top end and bigger impact creatures. They can now ramp with this one. Two, 3 with reach is good. Can block their Highland game. We can't block their Soldier of the Pantheon. They can X equals 5 this turn, though. Because they have the Atsuken Seer, which taps for mana. Getting Tarian World Tyrant is kind of gross off of that, because that's just going to abyss us kind of until the end of time. Because we have to find something that can kill a 9/7. Sereth Viper's Fang. Okay, other tapped creatures have Death Touch, other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. Untap another target creature or land you control. Now we have to kind of be aggro, just because they should never block. Oh, they're blocking? Sick! Give me your 9/7. Sereth was kind of a banger of a pickup. Okay, Aggressive Mammoth does suck. That's an 8/8 that gives all creatures trample. Ooh, Watcher in the Mist. We already know what they're going to be, so I'm fine surveilling. But it is a flyer, which is nice. Oh no, the Hamletback Goliath. Okay, that might have ended the game for us here. Hamletback Goliath is just gonna run away with this game. No matter what at this point, because no matter what we do, it's gonna become big. And the very nice thing is that this Blitz Leech at least will make it a 4/4. But they can now make their own creature this turn. Oh, they can't make a creature this turn. This allows us to... Oh, it doesn't matter because we are just dead. Since we can block this, but we still take enough damage to just die. Okay. With that, we're just going to play until we get one win, probably, so I'll be back with another game. The other thing is, like, games are fast, which is going to be nice. We are back against Swiss the Ambitious. You put lands from your graveyard into your hand. I think we will continue waiting since like the 3s and 4s are very, very good. We want to get first to 7. Since like Hamletback Goliath is a card that will just win us a game. Kamiya Transmutation, they get to turn all of their lands in their hand into artifacts or enchantments in addition to their other types. And so all these cards can be any card from the history of Magic Gathering that are on Arena, is the secret behind them. Parrot Oculus, eh? That's a pretty good 3. We haven't seen that 3 yet, and that's the 3 that wins games of Magic the Gathering, for sure. We are now, once again, very much on the back foot, based entirely off of the 3-drop that our opponent got. Whereas we got a 3-drop that doesn't do anything. It does get us to 5 next turn, which is not bad. We'll get 2 5s. But they get Kyodai, which gives another permanent indestructible. So now they have an indestructible Abhorrent Oculus. And a 2-turn each turn. So like their 3-drop is an Abhorrent Oculus. Ours is a thing that lets us pay 5 mana because it gave us a treasure token. We'll discard this Plains. And then we get Spiketail Ceratops. One of these things is not like the other, and it's our opponent's board versus our board and how lucky our opponent has gotten off of their Momir flips. Oh, into the Exalted Sunborn. Once again, this is the 5-drop we got. This is the 5-drop our opponent got. See if we get a better second 5-drop. Twin Blade Assassins? Not really. Yeah. So, once again, we have learned it's all about luck. And that's the thing that I'm going to keep trying to drive home. There's no real strategy at this point in Momir Vic. Here we go against Coco. We will make a 3-drop. Blood Servitor, not a great 3-drop, but it is a 3-drop. The hope is to get lucky on our 4s and 5s. We have the initiative and that we went first. They got a very good 4th drop. So hopefully we can also get lucky with our 4th drop. Caprosti Sunborn. Whenever it attacks, tap 2 untapped artifacts under creatures. If you do, discover 3. Well, we can't discover anything because there's no other permanents in our deck. But it is a 4-mana 4/4, which will trade with their 4-mana 4/5. Five-drop, they got a Defiler of Dreams. 4/3 flyer. Specimen collector, we get a squirrel and a crab. Throw everything away. Can we get a good 6? This is a pretty good 6 in that it starts giving us a way to actually win this game. Especially since we are going to have that die and we can make a second one. And our opponent doesn't have any way to give them trample, so we are really only taking 4 damage a turn. And we can just block with all of our tokens. Raph and Mikey is pretty troublesome for this, though. If they want to attack with Raph and Mikey, we can let them attack with Raph and Mikey. We'll just have to double block. They take 8 damage. We'd like a good 7. Oh, we paid for 6. Oh. That's a pretty good 6, though. For specifically the needs we have of being able to block this Defiler of Dreams. Walking Skyscraper is annoying. Damage. Can we get 8? You get a good 8. Come on, here's to a good 8. So it's an 8, but it's not an 8 that wins us this game. We have lost once again. Because we'll take 4 damage here, and that is the end of the game. This will be our last game of the video. Hopefully we get 1 win, but hopefully you can see that even if you're not winning, the entire idea and conceit behind the format is very interesting. We're going to try something we haven't done, which is we're going to try the aggro strategy of we're just going to go make 1-drops into 2-drops. Eidolon Philosophy is actually probably a pretty good 1-drop because we can sack it to draw 3 cards when it no longer becomes relevant later game. Because we will get to 7 mana. And then Goblin Assailant is a pretty vanilla 2-drop, but we just get to have pressure. Ironcrag Pyromancer is pretty bad, but it will trigger exactly once off of our Eidolon of Philosophy. That's a much better 3-drop than ours. Firebending 3. And we can use it to pay for the top card of our library every turn. I don't hate that. Oh, they're gonna give up their card draw? Okay. Because this means that we can attack with this. Exile the land. This essentially buys us back our turn that we lose from not going first. From going first and not drawing first. Mishra, Tamer of Makfawa. Now all of our permanents have ward, sack a permanent, which is nice. If our opponent somehow lucks their way into something that targets any of my permanents. So now we are guaranteed to hit 7. Djinn of the Lamp, there we go. That means we're going to be able to use our Eidolon of Philosophy to draw 3 cards. Sacrifice this 0-4. We get a good 7 drop. We got Daragaz reincarnated. It has flying, trample, and haste. It would die. Exile with 3 egg counters on it. Perfect. We've got 12 power of flying at this point, which is really all that we care about. Our opponent now gets to get their 7 drop. We're hoping for nothing that can block a flyer, which they didn't. Cool. And with that, we win. And that's our first win! We end the video with our first win. Let's go. But yeah, it's really just like a luck of the draw kind of thing. And that was the first time that we went for the aggro strategy. And it ended up working out. But it also now gets us to our first reward. And let us see what we get. It is unidentified hover ship. Okay. 3 mana 2/2 vehicle with flying. When it enters, exile 1 target creature with toughness 5 or less, and when it leaves, its exiled card's owner manifests dread. Crew 1. Honestly, it's an O-ring with situation, and it can kill your opponent because it's a 2/2 flyer that you can crew for 1. Not a bad card at all. With that, that's a little introduction to Momir Vig. I've shown you a couple of different strategies. Play the one that you think best suits you. But at the end of the day, it is very much just all, how lucky do you feel? Are you feeling lucky yet? But I still would very much encourage anyone that's been following along on this journey of playing with our new account and trying to figure out what we want to do and build up from the end. Do these midweek magic things. Get your stuff going. Be able to play these. Because at the end of the day, 3 guaranteed rewards, 2 of which are guaranteed rare or greater, is great for any collection. Because getting success, as we have up in our run up till this point, is entirely dependent on how lucky are you. Are you lucky enough to get the chase rare? Are you able to get the chase mythic? Are you able to build the deck you want? Is entirely based off of how smart are you in prioritizing what to get and when to get it. And then how lucky are you to get what you want out of the packs that you are given. And it really doesn't boil down to anything more complicated than that. That being said, we've hit a plateau and a point at this point in our new account challenge where we are going to be moving away from streaming it on the Jank Drawer live streams every Monday from 1 to 5, in favor of trying to bring you more relevant to the current zeitgeist modern Magic equivalent. Most importantly, we're going to be playing some Modern, and I'm going to try to be streaming that and posting some videos of the leagues and things that we do here on YouTube every week, to just kind of continue that grind and to hopefully help anyone that would be likely trying to qualify for an RC or qualify for anything in the near future. I have qualified for exactly 1 regional championship in my life, and it was playing Modern. And I feel that it is a format that I can learn pretty well and I can play pretty well and that I can play to a high level. And I hope that my expertise and my guidance as I begin my own journey to try and requalify for an RCQ, for an RC, will help you in your journeys to qualify for your RCs. with that, that's kind of all that I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoy your midweek metagame. I hope you enjoy the changes coming to the channel. Until next time, I have been Sam. This has been the Jank Drawer. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.